Hello, you're watching Movie Snapshot Scenes, and this is the summary of Top Gun Maverick 2022. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. As Captain Pete Maverick Mitchell flies through the sky, the sound of jet engines can be heard all over the desert. He is still chasing the edge and time itself. Maverick is still a strange figure in a world that has moved on from the famous days when he was a young pilot. Others moved up the ranks and into nice offices, but he stayed in the cockpit, where he belonged. They want accuracy and reliability, which is what the Navy wants drones for. Why not Maverick? He's chaos on wings. At the beginning of the movie, he is testing the Dark Star, a prototype jet that is supposed to be able to hit Mach 10. The program is about to be shut down by the bosses, so everything is at stake. Maverick, who is always defiant, chooses to show them they are wrong. He takes the plane to its very limits, flying through the sky so fast that the earth below him becomes fuzzy. The control room goes crazy. People above him yell at him to stop. Maverick doesn't care though. He hasn't ever. He is the fastest person in the world for a few wonderful seconds. But then everything falls apart. Under the pressure, the jet breaks apart. Maverick jumps out of the rubble and walks away from it like a ghost that doesn't want to die. That move should have been the end of his career. He never thought he'd go back to Top Gun, but fate sends him there. But not as a student this time. The Navy asks him to come back and teach a new group of top pilots for a mission that sounds impossible. They need to destroy a heavily fortified uranium facility deep in enemy territory. It's a suicide run that requires careful low-level flying through mountains. Even though the young pilots are the best, none of them have ever been this fast before. The Maverick has. As he walks into the Top Gun hangar, memories come flooding back to him. He can hear the roaring engines, see her ghost, and hear the laughing of old friends. Goose was his wingman who died years ago. Sergeant Bradley Rooster Bradshaw, Goose's son, is one of the new soldiers whose face stops him in his tracks. The similarity is very scary. Rooster's eyes are even more red with anger. Maverick knows this is going to be hard. No longer is he the careless kid from the 1980s. The rules have been changed, and the world around him has changed too. The sky still calls to him though. Top Gun. Maverick doesn't start with a story of glory, but of redemption. It's about a man who is working against time, guilt, and the pull of gravity. We can almost feel it. Maverick's fight isn't just to teach them how to fly as the sun goes down over the airport. It's to show that stories don't always come true. Maverick brings a lot of experience with him into the Top Gun classroom. They whisper his name as if he were a story come true, because they are smart and sure of themselves. They've heard the stories about the impossible moves, the man who flew like he was chasing death, and other people who were angry. But none of them really knows what it's like to live with it. Maverick looks at their faces and sees the pride of youth and the desire for fame. He used to have the same fire, but time and loss have changed it into a quiet drive. Rear Admiral Cyclone and Warlock, who are above him, make it clear. He's here to get these pilots ready for a task that most of them won't come back from. Radar and surface-to-air weapons are all around the uranium target, which is deep in a canyon. It is impossible to be precise enough on this flight path. You have to speed through the mountains, hit your target, and get away before the enemy can respond. Maverick pays attention and knows exactly what is being asked. They'll need more than just skill. It takes guts, bravery, and a determination not to die. He walks up to the class and says hello without any pride or pomp. He tells them, "Your enemy is not the other pilots. That's what your body can handle." His words are like heavy dust in the air. The recruits smirk. Hangman, who is cocky, thinks of it as a game. Phoenix, who is fierce and sure of herself, hides her jitters behind calm precision. Payback and Fanboy joke around to hide how scared they are. But Rooster just sits there, his jaw tight and his anger hard to hold in. Every time he looks at Maverick, Goose, the man Maverick couldn't save, comes back to him. The training starts off rough. They are pushed harder by Maverick than by any teacher. In California's scorching sky, dogfights turn into lessons in how to be humble. He flies faster than all of them one by one, becoming a flash of motion that no one can see on radar and appearing behind them before they even know he's there. What they hear is his voice. "You think up there you're dead." It's not a joke. It's true. Even though Rooster is mad, he flies with the same stubborn ease that his father had. But he's too careful and follows the rules too much. That pause makes Maverick think of himself, which scares him. People make fun of Rooster by calling him slow, but Maverick knows that Rooster isn't really slow. It's trust. He watches the young pilots laugh, flirt and sing at the bar one night, just like he used to. Time bends back on itself for a moment. Penny, who owns the bar and used to date him, shows up next to him. Their meeting is sweet and gentle. Although she makes fun of him for still living a risky life, her eyes show that she is worried. She has seen guys like him walk away after ghosts. Back in the sky, Maverick keeps forming the team, pushing them to their limits and shattering their egos. He seems relaxed, but he is really scared because he doesn't want to lose another son, Goose. The young people are learning how to fly. In the meantime, Maverick needs to learn how to let go again. The sun rises over Top Gun every morning to the same sound, jet engines roaring against the distance. The desert shines in the heat, and Maverick stands by the runway, watching his students take off. There is less air between him and Rooster every day, though. Every move and exercise turns into a silent fight. Maverick's flying style is instinctive, but Rooster's is careful and exact. He flies like he's scared, maybe scared to fail or lose control. Maverick is very aware of that fear. Maverick practices the mission route during a tough training session. The jets went very fast through tight canyons. One mistake can kill you. Rooster falls behind once more.
You move too slowly.
The comms are filled with Hangman's crackling noise. You'll kill everyone. Rooster doesn't answer though. He's strong, steady, and in the flow of things. Maverick can see himself in both men, the cockiness of Hangman and the discipline of Rooster, and knows that neither of them has learned what's important. On the ground, things get very tense. The Hangman makes fun of Rooster's speed and calls him a fool. Rooster strikes back with his hands clenched. The team doesn't know who is right as they watch. Maverick steps in and says, "You don't rise to the occasion." His voice is calm but sharp. When you fall, you learn from it. He learned this the hard way. But Rooster isn't ready to learn from the man who he thinks ruined his life. That night, the only sound in the garage is the hum of machines cooling down in the dark. Maverick stands next to his old F-18 and runs his hand along the metal surface of it, as if getting together with an old friend. When he thinks of Goose, he laughs, trusts, and remembers the moment when everything stopped. Those memories didn't go away. He once said he would watch over Goose's son, but Rooster got away because he was afraid. He lied to get his application to the Naval Academy pushed back because he thought he was saving him. He really was trying to keep himself safe from guilt, loss, and making the same mistakes. He goes back to Penny's bar later to feel better. A soft hum comes from the machine playing old songs. Penny knows right away that he is lying. She says in a soft voice, "You still think you can save everyone? That's no longer your job." Maverick can't stop himself though. He only knows how to fly and save people from the sky, even when he can't save himself. At the same time, the young pilots start to understand how serious things are about to get. It's no longer a simulation. The task is real and dangerous. Their laughter slows down and they look at each other more intently. Rooster looks at an old picture of Goose that is taped to the inside of his locker in the changing room. He can also see Maverick's face, which is smiling next to him. Pain and pride from 2 generations meet in the mirror of that picture. There's something Maverick has lost a long time ago that he needs to earn back before he can lead them into fight. He also learns that ghosts don't live in the sky as night falls over the airfield. They live in the hearts of people who keep flying. Maverick calls the team together on the flight deck the next morning. There is a lot of tension because the task deadline is coming up quickly and no one has yet shown that they can complete it. He has Cyclone and Warlock standing behind him, being suspicious and alert. On the big screen, the canyon course looks like it could never be completed. It's a dangerous maze of turns, hills, and drops. And there are only seconds between surviving and dying. There is quiet until Maverick's voice comes through. This job is hard, just like you think it is. But the enemy isn't waiting for everything to be perfect. He stops, his eyes wide. We're not up to the task. We follow what we were taught. The pilots take off, each trying to get better at the tough track. Hangman takes off first, sure of himself and careless, and almost passes out on a tight turn. Phoenix comes after, steady but too slowly. Rooster is still not sure, so he can't make it in time. The anger gets too high. Maverick knows that they're not just missing speed, but also hope. They think they can break the rules of physics just like he always has. Cyclone talks to Maverick after the practice. He says he is careless, out of date, and dangerous. Cyclone tells him, "Your style of flying is over." Maverick hears, but he doesn't say anything. When Cyclone says he's had enough of pushing the trainees, Maverick makes a choice that stops the whole base from talking. After a few minutes, the radio starts to crackle. Maverick's call sign lights up on the radar as a single FA-18 takes off from the airport. Not enough space. Don't let me. He's acting badly again. Cyclone and the others run to the control tower and yell at him to stop, but Maverick has already jumped into the canyon. The jet screams through the course at an unimaginable speed, hugging the ground and turning between mountains. Every second it seems like it will crash and kill someone. It gets fuzzy on the monitoring screen. Mach speed, almost blackout, and perfect accuracy. He gets to the goal 15 seconds faster than the time limit, and the timer stops. The room stops talking. The radio picks up Maverick's voice, which is steady and calm. "That's the way to do it. That was a great job." He proved that he is still the best pilot living. The new members are shocked and amazed. They see what mastery really looks like for the first time. When Rooster watches from the ground, he doesn't know whether to feel happy or angry. He knows that's how his father flew, without fear and believing in fate. He also knows that Maverick is pushing him to get over his fear. In the evening, Maverick is by himself on the asphalt, and the sun is going down behind him. Warlock walks up quietly and smiles. He says in a soft voice, "You've just been grounded for good." The Maverick smiles. Before he left, he knew what would happen. He knows deep down that he has just given those young pilots a new spark, the fire to believe in the impossible. The next generation finally gets what Maverick is all about. He does more than fly. In order to teach someone how to fly, you have to sometimes show them how to fall and still get back up. It is very quiet in the morning of the trip. The base is still and holds a lot of hope. Maverick, which was just grounded, watches from afar as the pilots get ready to take off. Cyclone has formally named a younger officer as the new team leader, but even he knows that none of them have flown the route like Maverick did. Radar-guided missiles, anti-aircraft guns, and the almost impossible low-altitude maneuvers make the task very dangerous. Every beat of the heart could mean death. Then the strange order comes in. When Warlock rushed into the hangar, he saw that Cyclone had restored Maverick. There is no way around the truth. No one else can lead them. Maverick walks forward with the known calm of someone who is used to being in danger. He looks at the team. Each pilot is brave on the outside, but scared on the inside. A soft voice tells her, "You fly the plane. Don't let the plane fly you." His words sound like a promise. Rooster looks at him with tense eyes, but doesn't say anything. Their pasts are still there, but there's no room for them right now. There's only trust. Maverick smiles and nods at him. "You're going with me?" Rooster thinks for a moment, then nods again. The choice is made. The sky is waiting. The engines start to roar. The jets line up on the runway, and as the sun comes up, their metal skins shine. Phoenix and Bob are in the lead, and Payback and Fanboy are in second place. The third wave is made up of Maverick and Rooster, who are the last two strike teams. The desert shakes with the sound of thunder as they take off. The task has begun. They go down into the valleys and are so close to the ground that sensors can hardly pick them out. There are sharp turns everywhere. That cool, steady, and commanding voice of Maverick can be heard over the comms. "Come with me. Don't think, just feel." As the mountains speed by, missiles fly overhead, and time seems to stop for a few scary seconds. Phoenix takes the first shot and hits her mark perfectly. Then Payback comes after, avoiding enemy fire. Fighters from the enemy are scrambling, and sirens can be heard far away. It's now time for Maverick and Rooster. Maverick does a dive, and his jet cuts through the air like a blade. "Fox 2!" he calls out as he locks onto the uranium vent. It hits right in the middle. The blast spreads out over the valley. The mission was completed, but winning costs something. The enemy's sensor picks up Maverick's plane. Alarms go off. "Evasive moves!" he yells, pulling the stick hard. Rooster hides him and fires flares, but it's too late. A rocket hits him. Maverick's plane falls apart in a ball of fire. There is no answer when Rooster screams his name over the radio. It looks like the world has frozen over. The pilots back at base are shocked as they listen. Warlock puts his head down. The Rooster won't go away. He goes back into enemy country, even though no one told him not to. He says, "I'm not leaving him behind." The kid ends up saving the day. One thing is clear from the sky above the burning mountains. Maverick taught them how to fly. Now Rooster needs to show that he's ready to fly by himself. The mountains are frozen, and smoke is rising from them as Maverick crashes behind enemy lines. He lands hard in the snow as his parachute flaps in the wind. He can only hear the wind whispering across the valley for a long time. There is no radio or car noise. He's still living, but he's stuck in a dangerous area. Above him, enemy jets search the sky for people who have survived. Maverick pulls himself up, and his pilot reflexes kick in right away. His breath turns into mist. He does not have a backup or an escape plan. He's really by himself for the first time in a long time. Then he hears it far away, the screech of another jet crashing. A cloud of smoke rises above the hill. Maverick runs toward it and slides down icy slopes until he sees what he was afraid of. Rooster's parachute caught in trees. The kid did come back for him. Maverick looks at him with mixed feelings, anger and awe. It makes him angry. "What the hell were you thinking?" Rooster shoots back a look. "You told me not to think." Even though he knows it's dangerous, Maverick can't help but smile. The person has finally learned anything. But now they're both trapped because enemy troops are all around them. In the woods, they hide and watch as enemy trucks move through the valley. There are no radios for them. They are living, but the base doesn't know it. Maverick looks around the area like the seasoned pro he is, looking for a chance. Then he sees it. A nearby old airport with a line of old planes that is guarded. They sneak into the base at night. Maverick's old plane, an F-14 Tomcat, is still in the hangar. It's the same type he flew many years ago, when Goose was still alive. Maverick's eyes shine, even though the paint is worn off and the metal is scratched. Rooster says, "You've got to be kidding me." The Maverick smiles. "It's not the plane. The pilot is here." They get on board. Rooster sits in the back seat, just like his dad used to do. Neither of them doesn't miss the connection. It feels like a holy moment right now. When Maverick flips switches, the cabin comes to life with groans from the machines. They cough and roar. The enemy soldiers yell directions as they rush toward the hangar. When Maverick opens up the throttle, the F-14 speeds through the runway like a ghost from a different time. Right away, the enemy fighters scramble. The dogfight starts. Tracer shots cut through the clouds like missiles across the sky. Maverick moves so precisely that it's hard to keep up with him. He dives, twists, and avoids every attack. Rooster yells warnings from the trunk while reloading flares. His eyes are wide with excitement. "Do you believe me?" Maverick yells over the radio. "Let me work on it some more." Rooster fires back. Their work together becomes natural, almost divine. In Maverick's every move and breath, the bond he used to have with Goose comes back to life. One enemy machine after another is shot down, but soon they are up against the last one. A fifth-generation fighter that is faster and smarter than any other plane they've flown. Maverick's old jet can't keep up. The F-14 is shaking from the stress. The enemy is ready to attack. Maverick does all the tricks he knows, like spinning through the clouds and stopping engines to make it look like he's somewhere else. It's too close, though, for comfort. They're stuck because they've run out of lights and luck. Then Rooster sees something. A move that Maverick taught him in sports. He yells, "Now, Mav!" Maverick dips, cuts the gas, and then quickly pulls up. The enemy goes too far. The last rocket is fired by Rooster. Hit straight on. The enemy blows up in a hail of flames. There is an eerie silence after that. Both men take deep breaths as they realize they've done something impossible. Maverick laughs in shock as they fly over the snow-covered mountains. Rooster looks at him with a proud and happy face. He tells her, "You're really crazy." The Maverick smiles. "We call it flying." They limp back toward friendly airspace. The F-14 is hurt, but it's still living, just like them. The sky used to be full of ghosts and bad feelings, but now it feels like home. Maverick isn't flying by himself for the first time. The F-14 is badly damaged and is gliding low over the ocean with smoke coming from its broken engines. There is silence inside as Maverick and Rooster are still shocked and full of energy. They did it. They made it through the impossible. But staying alive doesn't mean you're safe. The interior is lit up with warning lights. The fuel level is too low and the landing gear is breaking. "We're not out of this yet," Maverick says, his voice calm even though everything is going crazy. The fleet of carriers sees them on radar from far below. The control tower goes crazy with shock. An F-14? That's not possible! Warlock smiles as he reads the radio code. "That is Maverick." He picks up the radio and his voice is quiet but sharp. "You're free to come up to me, Mav. Bring her home." Maverick starts to go down. The jet shakes wildly and its hydraulics are screaming. Rooster helps by checking systems with his shaking but steady hands. They fight the machine together and get it to do what they want. The narrow stretch of land surrounded by water can now be seen. The crew of the ship stands on the deck and holds their breath. When Maverick drops the gear by hand, he does it with full concentration and vigor. As they get closer, the arresting wire team gets ready to hit. Maverick's eyes get narrow as memories flash through his mind. All the trips, all the losses, and all the moments that led to this one. When the F-14 hits the deck hard, it skids and sparks fly. When the wire snaps, it pulls the jet to a stop just before the edge. After a moment of silence, cheers break out across the ship. They got through it. They're still living, despite all odds. The Rooster is the first to come out, shaking and tired, but happy. Maverick follows and takes off his helmet. The wind blows through his hair. When Cyclone and Warlock rush to the deck, they look shocked and proud at the same time. The distance between them, the anger, the loss, and the sadness all go away when Rooster looks at Maverick. They hug each other without words. Just for a moment, it's not teacher and student, or past and present. Two pilots were able to make things right in the sky. Later, as the sun goes down, Maverick stands on the edge of the ship and looks out at the water. Even though the task is over, he has changed in a deeper way. He was guilty of Goose's death, every risk and every rule broken for years. It was like a second ghost following him around. But now that he sees Rooster laughing with the others, he is at peace. He saved more than Goose's son. He helped him grow his own wings. Things start to move again at the airfield. The recruits used to be cocky and unsure, but now that they've been through battle, they walk taller. They now know what real courage looks like. Giving up something important instead of being cocky or quick. Maverick makes one last trip to Penny's bar. She greets him with that playful smile she always gives him. "You always scare me and amaze me at the same time," she chats. He gives a soft laugh. That's a skill. The world seems calmer outside. Penny's daughter comes up to him and gives him a hug. For a split second, Maverick sees the life he never let himself have. A life that is grounded and real. Penny moves closer and puts her head on his shoulder. She asks, "Are you not going anywhere?" Maverick looks at her and then off to the horizon, where he can just barely hear jets roaring. Not today. As the movie comes to a close, Maverick works on his old P-51 Mustang, which he has been fixing up for years. When the garage doors are opened, the golden light of dawn comes in. Rooster shows up and helps him with the tools, just like Goose used to. They smile at each other, knowing that there is no competition or anger between them, only respect. As the camera moves back, the two of them get into the old plane. The engine starts up with a roar that can be heard across the dusty sky. Both the teacher and the student, as well as the past and the future, take off together and soar high above the clouds. This isn't just another flight for Maverick. Leaving his ghosts behind and becoming what he was always meant to be, not a hero or a rebel, is freedom. It's the moment he learned to live for something bigger than himself.